Welcome to Film Study, an all-American podcast with Lexi. This episode is really fun because a lot happened in episode 16, and I got to talk about it with Naya and Naomi Beautymind. With Naya, you all have heard on the podcast before, Naomi Beautymind. She's been all up in the comments, so I'm really excited to have her all the way from Germany. So this is us talking about episode 16, No Opp Left Behind. Hope you enjoy it. So, episode 16? Is it 16? Yeah, it's 16. Episode 16. No opponent, no op left behind. We have both Naya and Naomi Beautymind on YouTube here. What were your thoughts on the episode? Who wants to go first?
Naomi, you can go first.
You said, not it.
Not today. Well, for me, I feel like I enjoyed it. I just think a few scenes were lackluster to me. And I don't know what's going on with Preach, because who told him that is his daughter? I don't know if that is.
Oh my God.
First from Nickelodeon, but yeah, they need to figure that out. But overall, I feel like I love that Coop and Spencer already fixed it because it was getting annoying.
Right. God bless. Right. God bless. Jeez.
That's so funny. How about you, Naya?
I enjoyed this episode. I honestly feel like it, in terms of Friendsgiving, it gave what it was supposed to have gave. I feel like we hyped it up to be this big, the ultimate battle, where blood was going to be shed.
Not blood.
It was going to be this big thing, but I think it was awkward. It was tense at its moments, but I think that ultimately it was about what it was supposed to be, which was about everybody coming together, and it was Patience bringing everyone together, which God bless Patience. We missed her. And I enjoyed it. Yeah, I think we'll get to Preach, but I'm just focusing on Friendsgiving, and yeah, I enjoyed this episode.
That's funny. I actually enjoyed it as well. I would give it a solid 7 out of 10. I think it gave what it was supposed to give. I think it moved a lot of storylines along, which is important because we only have 3, but really 2 episodes left, because I don't really think we can count All American Homecoming because it's a whole pilot for another show, and so they don't have much room to play around. Like they did in the last episode, because there's a ton of stuff going on, and I think it moves some storylines along, which I enjoyed. And to your point, Naya, I think all of the fans, we kind of hyped up Friendsgiving, but you know what? NK did say that it was gonna be a joyful, happy.
She did.
And I don't know if I would exactly call it joyful. Right. I think it was awkward and yeah. but
that was to be dramatic. That was to be expected.
Exactly. No. But to get started into the episode right away, we sort of had this 3-minute intro where we saw so much. I guess Coop has taken her GED. Crenshaw is winning some games. Preach is hanging out with his daughter, which was okay, random.
Oh, Jesus, Lord.
With his daughter in quotation marks.
Right.
And
we need Maury.
Yeah, Simone is playing tennis. They packed a lot in the first 3 minutes.
They did. But Crenshaw's going to state.
Yes.
Which we all knew, but it's just for the people who complain that there's no football, okay, they're going to the state championships. Relax.
Yeah, Crenshaw is going to the state championships. Jordan was cleared to play football. So yeah, they set it all up. Did I miss anything in those first 3 minutes? I feel like that was it, but that was a lot.
No.
So we covered everything that happened in those first 3 minutes, and then it kind of led into Jordan being cleared. He was practicing with Spencer, which this is an aside for me personally. I'm so mad nobody made a bigger deal about that. It was just like they were doing it on their own. I thought somebody was gonna catch them and be like, "What are you doing?" But
Right, all
sorry.
open on the field. I was just like, what is happening here?
Exactly.
This like undercover like mission. It's just like, yeah, I can't. I
It
can't with
was
Jordan. Like in the
interesting.
whole football thing,
That
I
whole
just
storyline
can't.
was
Like
kind of
Jordan,
recycled.
yeah.
Go
Like,
ahead, Naomi. What'd you say?
yeah, so I'm saying basically this storyline was kind of recycled. It was the same thing with Spencer's shoulder.
Mm.
I feel like with Jordan, it didn't give anything because I'm like, when did Jordan become so obsessed with football? Like,
Exactly. Thank you.
I thought I wasn't going to play. I'm like, shut up, Jordan.
Thank you. I agree with you, Naomi. I am so annoyed with like this whole thing with him suddenly being so passionate about football. Like we have seen him be so fickle with it since season 1. And now because you decided to, be stupid and risk your life and, now football is like out of the question in the picture. Now you're so passionate going hard in the paint. I feel like with Spencer it made sense because he's always been passionate about football. When he got, when he got shot, it was this major thing for him. Jordan,
Yeah.
it's just like, what do you want? I don't know if he knows what he wants and if football is really what he wants. I'm tired of him and the football
I
thing.
just felt like he played it to kind of bond with Billy. And the beginning
That
of
was a
the
lot.
in the beginning of the season, he was all in Simone's business. And Willie was mad talking about what about that girl Kimon, blah blah blah. And now you want to act like he cares about football. Oh, I thought it was over. I'm like, Jordan, last time I checked, you didn't care like that. So
Exactly.
It was
I'm
so funny.
just it's like I cannot with him. I like married like Jordan, like who's all about Simone. I like that version of Jordan, but this Jordan with the football thing, it's just so like I can't deal with him in that.
That's so funny. Y'all are going in on Jordan at least for
Yeah,
5 minutes.
I can't deal. I'm sorry. Jordan is such a love-hate character for me at the moment because I feel like you have moments where you love him and support him, and there's other moments where he just reverts back to just annoying and like childish. I just can't with him. So
I
I
do
don't
feel
know.
like him being obsessed with football is a little bit in character for him in terms of he always goes up and down because I feel like there were moments in season 1 and season 2 where he was very into football and very like, oh, I'm the big man on campus, etc., etc., etc. And then he sort of, like you said, like, gets involved with girls or gets involved with Simone later on and just different things. And so like he is very up and down in terms of his dedication to football, which I feel like they're gonna like. I don't know if you can say explore, but explore more in the last couple of episodes where people are deciding what they want to do. Well, let's get into this. Like, so with Jordan being cleared, obviously, Coach Montez was just like, "But you're not playing in this game, sir." He was very unhappy about that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Montez was kind of like baiting him though. It was kind of like she was dangling the carrot in front of his face.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I just felt like she always knew that she was never really trying to put Jordan in. So I just kind of feel like don't like tease him. Like you know what I mean? Like especially with that like the ending of that storyline towards the end of the episode like or not the ending, but sort of after the Beverly game. I don't want to skip ahead, but I
no,
just
you
kind of
can
feel
go
like
ahead. Yeah, Beverly won the playoffs. JJ
yes,
had some
after they were
concerns.
sucking. After
JJ
yeah.
got his hair colored, and then he was worried about playing in the game. When they finally got to the game, Jordan he was doing bad, and then Jordan gave him a little pep talk, which is what you're talking about. Yeah, like
Right,
Coach
like
Montez was like, "Do what you can to help the team," and
right, and
Jordan did.
maybe right. It's like and maybe, and he's like, okay, let me step up and like help JJ out, and he did that, and then afterwards, it's like she's like, oh well, you know what, your dad is the coach of South Crenshaw, who we were going to be playing in state, and your best friend is on that team as well, so they know your game. So I don't really know. So I'm just like,
Which is
Montez, I don't really you needed to bait this boy. You know that he's pressed. So why would you dangle the carrot in front of his face if you knew you were never really going to put him
I,
back as QB1?
Billy also knows JJ's game though. He was his coach, and also JJ was his teammate as well, Spencer's teammate. So I'm like, why is she saying that? I mean, he's his son, so maybe it's different, and he's the QB, but they could
Yeah.
play still. So I'm
I
like,
think
I thought the same thing too. Billy has also played with JJ and Asher and probably everybody on that team longer than she has. So he knows everybody's game, I think, at that point.
well,
Um,
to be fair, I feel like Montez has shaped the Beverly's team in a different way. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like JJ being QB1, I feel like it is a different, I understand her point. I feel like it is a different thing. And it is a shakeup that I don't think that they're really anticipating. Like, because like Spencer was at that game, right? But I think he only saw JJ like really play bad in the beginning.
yes,
Maybe he came back at the end and saw JJ turn it around. But I feel like it is going to be different if JJ gets that QB1 spot in the state championships. I think it's going to be a different thing. I don't think they're really going to be expecting it. Because I think they want Billy and Spencer want it to be Jordan. So I don't know. I think it is
problem.
different. So I get her
but
point.
yeah, no, I get her point too. I just think that what the reasoning that she used, like, yes,
Yeah,
JJ is unexpected, but she was specifically said that Billy and Spencer know Jordan's game, and I'm like, yeah, but Billy knows everybody's game because he was the coach, and so I think he knows what JJ is capable of. I think JJ has always been the backup quarterback, but yeah, and I get her reasoning. It's unexpected, but I think her saying that they knew about Jordan's game was sort of balances each other out because I don't know.
yeah.
I feel like they
I
know everybody's game.
I think it's the way she said it. If she said it a different way, I would have understood it more. But she acted like Billy didn't train JJ as well, and Spencer didn't play with JJ as well. And besides that, I feel like she gives Asher passes. He came there storming like he's her husband or something, and then
Not her husband.
to
Oh
act like
Lord.
she owes him something when she been a better mother to him than his own mother, who was busy doing whatever and finding a new husband. So I'm like, you need to calm it down. And
That's so
Right.
funny. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
then she turned around and gave him what he wanted. I'm like, we're not doing that. And also, why
Mhm.
was Asher sitting in that locker acting like he's crying? I just don't understand.
Asher gets a lot of chances.
He
Asher gets
does.
a ton of chances. That's another thing that I didn't. And I'm a fan of Coach Montez. I think that she's a
I
real
am too.
coach. I
I
feel
love
like she's a better coach than Billy. But the other thing that I didn't really get was that Asher said to her,
Thank you. Say it.
you've
Oh my
done
God.
more for me. Well, you're which I don't know if we've ever heard Billy call Asher great. So I didn't have a problem with that. But when he said you've done more for me than any other coach
I
just within
know.
this last year, and I'm like,
I
Billy,
was
who said
right.
he used steroids for
I was getting flashes of season 2. I was like, the man who literally got fired because of
you?
you and your steroid
Literally.
use? I think not. Don't do that.
Asher,
Please.
don't do that.
Don't
Especially
play
when it's
that black
like
man like that.
especially when it's like the man whose family, right? Olivia literally got you off the streets when you were homeless, when your dad
Right?
kicked you out, and has don't Asher, sit down somewhere.
Don't.
Sit down somewhere,
Don't.
sir,
You
because
see,
we're
this
not
is
even going to
where
get into how much the Bakers have come through for you with your mess, okay?
okay, to the detriment of their own family. Okay, don't do
Facts,
it.
Mhm.
facts,
Don't.
and their own
No.
health, Olivia. But
Right. We digress. Okay.
we digress. That
But
was a little
to
aside.
wrap the whole Jordan thing up, I was wondering if it is going to become a bigger thing because obviously you know we know that Jordan and Spencer have been having these undercover on the low training training session. So I wonder if it's going to come out that that Spencer was helping Jordan train. Like I don't know. I wonder if that's going to be a bigger thing. It was touched upon in that conversation between Spencer and Jordan at the beginning of the episode, but I was wondering if it was going to be like a bigger thing, like if
I
it's going to
feel
come
like
out and
it
be
might
drama.
because Spencer's look after he said they won't find out was kind of,
Right.
he looked like,
Yeah.
oh, what
It
if
was
they?
real
So I feel
ominous.
maybe they're gonna make a bigger deal out of it.
Yeah.
Which
I was
I,
wondering that. I'm not sure. It seemed a little ominous, that conversation.
I feel like it's gonna be made a deal out of, but I don't think it's gonna be a big thing. Like I think it's gonna create conflict for 2 seconds and then it's gonna be resolved because That's how all of the things go with the men on the show.
And I don't really know if it's that serious at this point because Jordan doesn't even look like he's about to start as
Exactly,
QB1. So I don't
exactly,
know.
exactly. So you
I
can
don't
see
know.
if
We'll
Jordan
see.
starts. Yeah, that's and we'll get into that in predictions. But
Okay.
yeah, so moving along, let's touch on the Preach Mo daughter thing.
Ugh. Do we have
We'll go over
to?
it briefly.
Jesus Christ. I'm tired, y'all. I
We'll
can't.
go over. I'm very tired. It's like we don't need
We don't need
this
this. We don't
storyline.
need it.
It's so long that nobody cares. Like
I
Mo,
know.
first of all, that child actress you employed, like, let her go. She's a little sassy for my liking, Roadhouse.
She's
I'm
sassy.
like,
That's what her role is supposed to be. She's the daughter of Preach
I
and
was like,
Mo,
this
apparently.
girl needs a whooping. She was doing a
So they
lot.
say. Yeah,
That's
I
so funny.
can't. I feel like in terms of Mo, she was such a built up character, like at the end of last season, and it's been such a letdown that I
Yeah.
don't care about anything regarding Mo if
Oh,
it's not going
same.
to be relevant. Like we're at episode 17 of this season.
Which is
Two
basically might as well be like 18 at this point.
Right. I'm just like, we're almost done with the season at this point, like almost done at the home stretch. And there has been nothing resolved with Mo. This whole petty revenge scheme she has against a 17-year-old girl, which I mean, like, seriously, get a life.
Yeah.
And there's been nothing done about that. It's been such a letdown that I don't care anymore. And this pop-up daughter is really something in the milk is not clean. Like
Not
he needs to
the
get a
milk.
paternity test. He needs to snatch a piece of hair from that little girl's head and do a little paternity test on the side because I don't trust it. I
I
don't
feel
trust it.
I was expecting something completely different from Mo because
Right.
I was scared when I first seen her. I was like, oh.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
now I'm like, what is she doing? Why are you
Yeah.
better against Coop? Like, I mean, Coop is ignorant. But Tyrone was ruining his own life. What did she think what his future was gonna be? Like he was gonna be dead or in jail anyway, whether Coop was there or not. So
Yeah, well, and the interesting thing is that, Mo said that she took her daughter away. I don't even know the girl's name. But to be
Right.
away from the gangs and that lifestyle. So it's just like, I mean, you knew who your brother was. So why are you even I honestly, and it was such a small moment, like they could have easily just cut that scene where she said, "Oh, we have her on her toes now," or whatever she said, and just left it at that we thought Mo was going to be this bad guy, and then she ended up, doing some good after, after after she found out that her brother was a menace, which makes sense, and they could have just left it at that.
They
It would have
could
made sense
have.
with the amount of episodes left, but no, now they have to do this whole daughter preach thing,
It could
and
have been two things. So like at the end of season 2, it felt very sinister. It felt like she was real trouble. And so I was like, I was down with that because obviously it raises the stakes. But it's like it was only supposed to go two ways. Like she was either going to go full force, like really going to be coming for everybody and doing it in a very strategic way, or she was just going to be like, how she was at the beginning of the season, trying to do good for the community, trying to be Olivia
Mhm.
Pope for the people. But instead, it's been like this mix, and like she was doing that up until a certain point, and then it was like, oh, I'm gonna ruin Coop's life, and we're like, oh, so we're
And
back
this
to
is the first,
this.
and this is the first time we've seen her since she said she's doing, and so it's just
Exactly.
like it's just not.
And it's the first time we've seen her since I think the last time we saw her was when her and Preach had that old nasty kiss and like
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That
whatever.
was all in the same episode when she was
And
pulling up on Preach, and then she was just like, and now we have Coop where we want her. And then it was just like, okay, I guess we're not hearing from Mo anymore until
right.
this
And
daughter
so that
situation.
makes me feel like, are you doing this to get back at, like, is this really his daughter? Are you trying to be vindictive because he don't want you? That's why
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't trust her, because if she could literally make a flip, like, make us think she was actually doing good for the community, even though I always thought she was sketchy. So I always thought that there was something more to her. I didn't know what it was. And then her being like, oh well, now we got her where we want her, and I finally got Coop to trust me or whatever. Like I just kind of feel like I don't trust Mo's motives. So
Yeah,
Preach needs to ask more questions instead of
he
taking
does. And he's
Mo's
smart,
word.
and I don't know why he's not. I mean,
I don't know, and I just
Fighting been
doesn't make
off this
sense.
season two alone. The whole thing with Layla, like normally I love Preach, but I was like, Preach, that girl did nothing to you. Why are you doing all of this? And
oh
then
yeah.
him, like he's supposed to be smart, but you just taking the bait. It doesn't even make sense for him to be like, oh, that's my daughter. Let's do this. I'm swinging her at the swings, and I'm her daddy, and nobody's taking her from me. I'm like, do you even know if that's your daughter? Like,
Especially the gang street smarts of Crenshaw. Nah, I
Yeah,
don't.
no, and I just kind of feel like with Mo too, like you had all of that gas at the end of season 2 to go to Preach when he was in jail and have this whole Shakespearean soliloquy about how you were about to rain down hell on everybody who was involved with Tyrone, but you couldn't find time to tell him that he had a daughter. Like I don't trust it, and I feel like the whole reasoning about her not wanting her daughter involved with the gangs. Girl, you were involved with the gangs too. You and your brother before you left Crenshaw or whatever the story was. So
And she still
what are you
is because she
talking
had some
about?
minions. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm just like, Mo, please. I don't know what's going on here, but Preach needs to ask more questions and stop taking this little girl's word and her mother. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I just
Yeah.
don't
If she even
trust
is
it.
her mother, she maybe even a
Exactly. She
kid.
could be a freaking hired actress or something.
Yeah.
Literally
The-
and figuratively.
I got
what's
off Nickelodeon or something. Because
Exactly.
I'm
It's just
dead.
giving bad vibes.
I
Okay.
cannot. I'm dead. But you know what a fan theory is
Mm.
that Carrie might be working for
I've
Mel.
heard
And so
about
let's
Oh,
speaking of
Jesus
Carrie,
Lord. No. You gonna stress
speaking
me
of
out.
Carrie, no, I just wanted to do that as a transition. Speaking of Carrie,
Oh God.
Friendsgiving
Oh
was a
Jesus.
thing that
Wait, let
happened.
me drink some water because Carrie, ooh, child. Okay, go ahead.
Friendsgiving was a thing that happened.
Mm.
And yeah, we saw that. So the point I think of Friendsgiving was to bring Spencer and Coop back together, and I think that became immediately clear because we saw Patience and Coop walking down Crenshaw's hallway. They ran into Spencer. Obviously, it was still awkward. Coop thanked him for the birthday thing.
It was
Um,
so painful, just to add. It was the most
it
painful
was
thing I've ever
there
seen in my
was
life.
there was so many painful episodes. I was just like, I can't. I text my friend. I was like, I can't even like look at the screen. This is so
It was such a
uncomfortable.
painful moment that didn't
Um,
need to be. But go ahead.
yeah, and so Patience noticed obviously the awkwardness, and I think it's something different when you're on tour. She was away.
Right.
Who probably told her about it, but seeing it in person, she was just like, nah, 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 something needs to happen. So I
Exactly.
honestly feel like uh, she cooked up that like plan just in that second. I don't think she was actually having a friendsgiving. I think she noticed the awkwardness between the two, and then said, "Oh, I'm doing this little friendsgiving thing." Because if you notice, like when she and Coop were walking away, Coop was like, "What are you?
yeah,
what is that?"
Right. It was definitely, I think, an impromptu plan, which we appreciate. Okay.
Yeah, we
I'm so
appreciate
happy
it. We
Patience is
appreciate it.
back.
And
Okay.
she basically, got everybody together, texted everybody, texted Olivia, texted Simone,
have
etc., etc.
Simone met? Because I was a bit confused about that. Because I don't know if Patience, I
Knew
think she,
Simone.
so do they know each other, Simone and
Yeah,
Patience?
they all went to Vegas together.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I've been rationalizing it in my mind because I'm like, Patience got to know Layla through tour because they basically did the tour in tandem so that Layla could and JP could bond. Even though that wasn't the real JP.
Where,
Oh
where
Jesus.
did you go?
JP
We're not gonna
2.0
get into that. We're not gonna get into
regression, the regression of JP.
but
I don't like
yeah.
this guy. I'm sorry.
And something that I actually thought about over the course because they were just like, okay, but why is Jordan there? Why is Simone there? And we forget that Jordan actually in season one spent a bit of time in Crenshaw, and
Yeah.
Patience was there too. He went to the cookout, etc., etc. So they know each other. Patience was at the cotillion, so it's like they've hung in the same circle. So that wasn't as big of a stretch for me as to why Patience was the one to put this together.
The only person out of place at that Friendsgiving
Carrie.
was Carrie. Okay, she's the only one who had no purpose. And okay, go ahead.
Her purpose was to cause some mess because even before the party started, we saw um Coop, Patience, and Layla, and they were I don't even remember what they were talking about, but really quickly, just want to drop this in there. Coop is apparently having a winter tour that Layla will not attend, so that's something that's happening.
He was gonna get locked up at stage or something.
Oh God, not Naomi going dark. She's
I know.
already
I was just like, what? Why
after her
did you
GED
say
and she
Coop
like,
is gonna?
yeah,
Coop is
yeah,
gonna be.
He's
she's
gonna lock her up on stage. I think Mo is gonna be like, "Yeah, gotcha."
People are coming for Coop in terms of predictions this season. They're like, she's gonna die, she's gonna be killed. I'm like, why are y'all raining down all of the doom on Coop?
I know.
Now she's going to jail on stage. No, but yeah. So Layla put together a tour with the same like Vegas people, um, and Preach had made some hats, which I still think the merchandise is
Oh,
It's a
that
little
not great.
sketch. Is a little sketch. Yeah.
I'm like, I know these actors are laughing in between takes as they have to say like, oh yeah, this is the best merchandise ever.
it's given 2001.
I'm like, okay.
It's so cringe, but yeah. So anyway, Carrie came when Patience, Coop, and Layla were talking, and they mentioned the whole Friendsgiving thing. Why did Layla let this girl use her car? Is my question.
I think
Right, exactly. I'm just like, really?
and
No.
also Carrie, why? Like, is your ex gonna be there? Like, mind your business. But Coop pissed me off because she was like, at this point, Spencer's all our exes, and Coop Spencer did nothing to you. Like,
Yeah,
every
see, I
Exactly.
get
She's
that, but I
using that
also
same
feel like
line. Let it go.
let it go, but I also feel like she was
Let
also
it
sort
go.
of like, "What are you doing, Carrie?" And probably
yeah.
just said that to make it like I always come for
Exactly.
Coop, but I also
She's like,
think Coop
move
was just
on.
being like, "Okay,
I mean, Patience was like,
whatever."
he overstay her
Right.
welcome.
Coop and Patience read the room and we're like, I don't know about that chick. So I liked how that was put in. Like, it's not just Olivia out here peeping bad vibes.
Yeah,
Everybody is feeling off about this girl, and only Layla doesn't see it, which is so frustrating.
And it's so dumb because
Ugh.
at that point when Carrie threw her little shade at Olivia, like, oh, I remember you're not home, and how did Layla not hear it? She was standing
it's very confusing. I okay. One thing I do not like is when for the sake of a storyline that they make women seem dumb, and I'm just like, Layla's not dumb. Like, I
far
mean,
from that.
it just bothers me.
No.
But to go to the right, I mean, listen, Carrie got Layla at the perfect time, unfortunately.
No,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah. Of
Layla's very
course,
vulnerable at this moment and she's working through a lot of things with the people in her life. Like the two most important people in her life, Olivia and Spencer, she is in this weird limbo with and is trying to work through that. And Carrie picked the perfect moment to roll up in unannounced and completely offset all of that. And I feel like unfortunately Carrie is threatening Layla's growth, and I really don't want it to trigger a regression, but I just think Layla is so vulnerable right now and she just can't see Carrie and her nightmarish ways, and it's very jarring to watch.
yeah,
But I'm just
yeah.
like, I don't know how that long they're gonna drag this out, and I really just want Carrie to pack up her things and be escorted off the premises
Off
because
the
she needs
premises.
to go. To go. Just feel like Carrie is doing exactly what I thought she was going to do. And it's not even just about Olivia at this point. It's anybody in Layla's life that she values. Carrie is trying to push everyone away out of Layla's life, isolate her. It's giving very much, if I can't have you, no one can. And we haven't seen that extreme yet, but I feel like it's with everybody in Layla's life, where it's like, yeah, it's not all about you, Carrie, but you want it to be all about you. And it's giving very much single white female, fatal attraction, but Layla's not your girlfriend, and it's very alarming. So I feel like in that little tidbit with Patience and Coop, it very much shows you where Carrie's energy is, and it's exactly what I expected it to be because she's literally threatened by anybody in Layla's life.
Something else I found weird is how she's looking at Coop. I feel like I don't know what's up with that because first she was looking at her when they,
Right.
and then she was looking at her at the kitchen when she was with her unseasoned mac and cheese. I was like, Carrie, why? It was just weird. So I know why people came up with that prediction to come back to that point, because Carrie has a thing for Coop, but I don't know why. That's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, her I will applaud
I
the
think that's
actress because
definitely
she can
there.
pull off creepy eyes. That's like when she was staring at Patience, Coop, and Layla, and again like at the table with the mac and cheese. She just yeah, she creepy then.
Yeah, I just need this girl's mother to stop trying to call her and start trying to track her down and start putting up missing flyers. I need her parents to do something more because she's got to go. She's got to
Yeah.
go. Like I can't deal with her anymore on my screen. Like she's just it's really like ominous what's to come because I just feel like it's a buildup at this point. Like
Yeah.
Carrie's playing the game.
And obviously it was that moment where, at the end of the episode, Olivia went to go just pop in, say hi to Layla, and she was just like, "Oh, she's sick," and blah 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 blah. And to your point earlier, yeah, she definitely came in at the perfect time when Layla was vulnerable, but it's just like, ugh, this girl is making it too obvious. My one question in that scene was, did Olivia not text Layla before she got there? And did she not text Layla after she got there? Because it's just, but she's trying to stay out of people's business, apparently. So,
No, I was gonna say something about that. I'm like, Olivia, you was all up in Tamika's business 2 episodes ago. So come on. You know,
it
Oh
was a very
no.
convenient, it was a very convenient way to be like, I'm not going to be in anybody's business anymore, even though this girl just gave a Heather's reference, which is like basically, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah,
Did you notice the Heather's
kind
foreshadowing
of
when they
I
watched the
did
movie?
notice. She was like, Layla was like, I can't believe you've never seen Heather's. I'm like, she's seen Heather's. She is Heather's. Okay, stop.
Exactly.
She's literally named after like a horror movie of like the 80s or the 70s or whenever Carrie came out. Like it's a bad omen. Her name is a bad omen. So she's seen
Truly,
Heather's.
truly. But getting back to the off of Carrie for a second, getting back to Friendsgiving and
Thanksgiving. Yes. Oh
with
my God. Yes.
we just got on that whole because
I know.
literally Monda, when you listen to this, I hope that you enjoy us coming for Carrie because she said I didn't come for Carrie hard enough the
Oh,
last.
listen, Monda, I am on the team. We got all the smoke for Carrie over here.
But
Okay, we don't
she
sleep for
is,
Carrie.
listen, Carrie's giving what she's supposed to give. She's
And she
supposed to be
is.
creepy.
She
playing
is. She is. But it's just
I
so
thought she was
alarming to
gonna be
see
more
it.
messy though. I thought she was gonna be more messy.
Oh, I don't know. I think what's left of Carrie is still left to come. I
Yeah.
don't know how long they're gonna stretch it out. And part of me feels like I wouldn't wrap it up at the end of the season. I feel like they need to stretch it out a little bit longer if it's going to be this big thing, but I don't know how they're going to do it. I just feel like it's a buildup for Carrie, and I'm
See,
scared
yeah, but I don't
because,
like.
yeah,
Has Layla not gone through enough at this point? I mean, like in terms of this season,
I
like
get it.
coming
I
off of her
do.
depression,
I
like
know she
it's
has,
just
but you know,
the writers hate
Carrie's a
Layla.
test.
I mean, she had a lot of growth.
Me
And
too.
But
Me too.
also,
you know, I feel like
there's some interesting things. But speaking of her growth, she was very tried to be very
Yes,
mature
you're right.
when Spencer and Olivia walked through the door, which they met each other in the driveway, which Olivia later clarified. But
Right.
she was it. I again another scene where I was just like, this is so just uncomfortable.
yeah, I was
Wow.
dying.
It's
I'm like,
uncomfortable.
Layla's better than me because I wouldn't have hosted it. It wouldn't have been me. I couldn't do it. I'm sorry. Like, no, I'm
But like
sorry.
all the
Listen to her
haters
wrong.
out there who be trying to come for Layla, y'all really make Layla out to be the she devil, and she's not because it
She's
really could have been
not.
popping as soon as Spencer walked through the
I
door.
mean,
Really,
Okay, and
even
it's
when
at
she
her
said go
house.
find patience to Spencer when he tried to talk to her, somebody was just like, she really could have said go find Olivia and make it messy. And I'm like, I would have loved to hear that. That would have been funny.
I wanted something. Yeah, I've been joking about the fact because actually Spencer's and Layla's first time was at Olivia's house, and I said it's only right if Spencer
No, no, I'm not with you on that. Not with you on that.
just saying. But Layla been very
Oh,
mature, and I'm proud of her because it wouldn't have been me. Spencer wouldn't been in my house. No, I'm sorry. how big his heart is. He played her. Like whenever I see that Vegas scene, I'm like, oh no. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. But I think what's
Did.
interesting is that, I think Layla's working through all of it. And I think specifically with Bolivia, I think we saw her trying to wrap her head around it, looking at seeing it visually for the first time. I think as awkward and very uncomfortable as it is, I think it's another way that she's working through it. So, yeah, I'm just like, shout out to Layla in this episode, specifically with a testament to her growth and, the whole Olivia and Spencer interaction, and also later on with the Spencer conversation, which was actually one of my favorite parts of the episode.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to skip ahead to that or if you want to go like
Yeah,
in
go ahead.
chronological order
Go ahead.
on
We're
that.
just doing
Um,
Friendsgiving.
a little bit, right? So yeah, I feel like that conversation with Layla and Spencer was, I felt like, very realistic. It was a conversation that I kind of felt like was going to happen, because it's just inevitable. Like there's no way that he could be at her house and that conversation not happen. It wasn't a reconciliation, which is realistic at this moment. This is not going to go the way you want it to go, but we appreciate the effort. But
Which, can we talk
no.
about how this man came up to her smiling? Like, I rewatched the scene, and this man really was smiling. Like, hey, I didn't just sleep with you.
I think he was trying to smile. I think he was trying to smile to keep from crying.
Nah.
He
This
was
man
like,
had
let me
way
just
too big of
smile
a
like the
smile on
Joker
his
and
face,
offer.
acting like everything was all cool. What is this?
I don't know
That
what's
man.
Like, he was
Spencer
like,
is
howdy,
hilarious.
let me help you with these little desserts and pastries
Exactly.
for
Oh, we haven't
everyone.
gotten a chance to talk as if
Um,
it was just like some random issue that they needed to work
what?
through.
and
Right.
also
It's like, Spencer, I think she said everything she was supposed to say to you, like at the big, early in
Truly.
their season. There's really nothing to talk
Truly.
about. I
Yeah, but I
really
was
thought
very
Layla
happy.
articulated herself really well, though.
I love that Spencer apologized again and sort of left it at that. But yeah, Layla articulated herself very well.
I think that was my favorite
Yeah, I
scene
mean,
actually. Yeah. I like that.
yeah, I loved it.
I respected it. And that she said, I don't hate you. You have a big heart. It gets you in trouble, which it does. And I felt like that was a good moment. And I think they're going to move forward from this at some point. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was really realistic, and I don't think any of us were expecting it to be like this full-blown reconciliation. I just don't think Layla is in that space. She's not ready. She said that, and I think the way that she articulated that was very honest, and it was very much of from a very mature, evolved place where it's like she could have been petty and she could have given him all the smoke. I feel like she's done that already, but if she had some leftover gas, I don't think any of us would have been mad at her. But I obviously, it looked like Spencer wanted to say more, and he obviously wanted that conversation to go differently. But I think you let her work through this on her own, and I think she's working through it. And I thought it was closure, at least to where they are right now, and I'm completely fine and content with that. Layla's valid, so I
Yeah.
was cool. It was a realistic conversation where it was like, this is real. It's not going to happen right away, but we obviously know it's going to happen in the future. But I like that it
Yeah.
was a conversation and it was honest.
I
So
think that
I
Spencer was
appreciate it.
feeling gassed up from his conversation with Coop because that went well. He was just like, "Oh, let me go test my luck."
Wait, I don't
Test my
know. Was
luck.
that? I feel like I don't know. I feel like that scene was his scene with Coop was after him and Layla,
I thought it
because
was
I feel like
before.
after that scene with no, I think it was after, because after that scene with him
okay.
and Layla, he was like all like by himself, looking all forlorn. I feel like him and Coop's
I
reconciliation
thought
was
he was
after
waiting
him
for
and
the back.
Layla, because
I need to go rewatch the episode because I thought he did it with Coop first, and
I
then
think it was
but
after.
what, because it
I could be wrong.
Friendsgiving ended on a weird point because it was just like whatever the last scene was for Friendsgiving didn't make any sense. It was just like, oh, y'all just gonna leave it like that. And I think it was when when Layla was just like, go find patience, and then the
No,
next thing we know, Jordan was at
and
the thing.
wasn't the last
Oh
scene when
shoot, maybe it
Yeah,
was.
because it just ended, and we were like, oh, we're not
I
gonna
don't
get a follow up from
know.
this.
Yeah, but I don't know though. I still feel like it was. I still feel like it was afterwards. I don't know. So, if we're wrong, like
Audience, check the
after this
tape.
video
Check
comes
the
out, let us
tape.
know in the
Check the tape. Roll the tape.
it was
No,
after.
No, I
but yeah,
feel
I
like
don't
it was
know. It was
after.
Spencer was feeling good. He was just like, even at the little speech, which Patience made everybody, and we got to speed through this a little bit, but Patience made everybody say what they were thankful for. She didn't even let people rest for 5 minutes. She was just like, everybody's in here. Okay,
But
now
we love that.
elephant in the room. Let's address it. Let's all say something nice about each
We
other.
love
And
that.
we do, but I was just like, okay, give them a chance to breathe.
But I feel like that scene with
No, they have no chances to breathe.
No
None.
chances to breathe. Don't catch your breath.
No chance.
Don't adjust. We're just gonna roll through everything.
didn't Friendsgiving ended when they were planning
Yes.
a trip to Bringston?
No, that because before they or after they planned the trip to Bringston, um, Coop and Spencer like
And
reconciled
then
because Patience.
after he talked to Layla already.
No, Bringston was
Yeah,
before.
see, the sequence of events is still
It's still muddy. It's still muddy. But yeah, Bringston was
no, but
before. Bringston
I
was
that
after the mac and cheese debacle.
Oh yeah.
yeah. It's yeah.
It was
Mhm.
funny though. I
Yeah.
was like, oh my god.
Friendsgiving was very random and it was very quick. I think it was like 10 minutes of the episode. And so they had to fit in a lot in those like 10 minutes.
What did you guys think about the speeches? And I was like, I mean, look, I like Layla and Olivia separately. And Lexi, I know you have your little hope, but I need this.
Not little.
I need this friendship
We're both
to end. Like,
we both have that, girl. We both have the little hope.
I felt so much shade in that moment, but it was good. It was good. I loved it.
I know.
sorry, but I can't. But I feel like Olivia, why are you like, oh, when it gets down to it, Layla shows out. I'm like, your friendship and Layla's doesn't compare. Because I feel like Layla is a great friend to everybody, but her friendship in Liv is not really that great. So I'm like, why are you making a reference in this moment? It was just like awkward. And then also Coop's speech kind of was like
Obviously, I think we can agree. Oh, sorry. Um, I think that we can agree that everyone was holding back in that little, speech moment. I think,
Yeah,
there are things that
that's what
probably
I'm
could have
saying.
been
Like she just
said
went
that
into
weren't
it. People were
said.
like, "Well,
It
dang,
was
like, what am I supposed to say?"
right. It played into the awkwardness. So it's just like, that's what that scene really was for me. I wasn't surprised at people avoiding certain things because it was just an awkward situation.
And I think to me, it made
Yeah.
sense. It made sense, at least to me, why Olivia said that because it's an uncomfortable position. Like, what is she gonna? And Carrie was trying to show out yet again, and Olivia was just like, "I see you." I feel like that was another way of her indicating that. But yeah, people held
Exactly.
back.
Which I just like,
and I was
Carrie,
just like
it's
side
so
eyeing her for it. So
painful.
like, y'all friendship is off. Let it go. But I know you guys have your hopes. So
No, I get you. I get you.
Yes, we
And
do.
I understand. I understand. I understand. People hate
I mean,
it.
they're
It is
gonna be
what it is.
friends.
Listen, I'm tired. I get it. I I am exhausted by the whole Layla and Liv thing. I have so much hope, but it's exhausting, especially
It
with the
is.
added layer of Carrie, which I've said that there's no way that Layla and Liv can forge any kind of new path with Carrie in the way. It's just not possible. We saw that an episode ago. So that's frustrating because it's prolonging the inevitable process. I'm sorry, y'all, but Layla and Liv are going to be friends again. I don't know what's going to happen, but I mean, we see them trying to work toward something, but it's not plausible right now with Nightmare Carrie in the way. And so
Yeah.
that's frustrating for me to watch because it's been exhausting in general. So me and Lexi are, I think, on the same page with that. Like,
It
we
is.
really
It
want
is.
it to happen because I feel
But
like I just feel
Carrie
like
has thrown a wrench in
but
the
it's just
process.
I don't know.
I understand you guys because I know it's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
she's
It's
giving what she's supposed to give.
Yeah, but my problem is like this best friend thing. My problem is not that they're gonna be friends because they're gonna have to be friends. They're in this show together, whatever. But that they make it be known like, oh, we are on the way of being besties again. I'm like, when was y'all besties?
It's very funny how they've
Yeah, I think that it's very funny.
written
That's
that
always been a
dialogue.
question
I
for
will say,
me.
yeah. I think the dialogue is always
Yeah.
kind of cringy when it comes to how they write what
Yeah,
they say to each other.
natural. I would be, and also my problem with that
But
is
I might have to cut it because we're running up on time and we gotta get to Spencer and Coop and Brixton and all of that stuff. So sorry, but we can maybe we could do predictions on Layla and Olivia. But the reason for Friendsgiving, right, was to bring Spencer and Coop back together. So what did you think about, how they, they had the little moment at the mac and cheese table. And then finally, like when they were both at the bathroom, Spencer was just like, "Oh, I miss getting your advice," because Coop gave him some advice on Toledo State and said that she would be there for his family, etc., etc. What do you guys think of that moment?
Something to say about that. I feel like, I mean, I'm happy it's finally over with because that little beef of theirs was so annoying. But I was expecting something different. I mean, Spencer been crying all season, and now you have your best friend back, and it was no emotion. I would have liked a conversation at his house, maybe a little bit better, because that's how it started, like their beef. I just felt like the first moment it was kind of like, so it only needed Carrie's unseasoned mac and cheese for y'all to laugh and be friends again. So it was kind of like, okay. But when she came over to his house and then they hugged about the skydive,
The skydiving, I love that.
I love
That was
that.
much more them for
Yeah,
sure.
that was more them. But at that, when they were waiting, it was just like a bit forced. And then Coop was like, oh, don't make it awkward. And he was like, so we friends again. It just seemed a bit off. But when she came over, I like that. That was good. But I hope they still talk because they didn't really talk about what the issue was. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think what I liked about it,
Oh,
the little screenwriter in me just loved that it was more uncomfortable when they were in Beverly Hills. And then once they were in Crenshaw again, it was just like, all right, we good, we good. So I like that. But go ahead, Naya.
oh no, I love that too. That was a good tidbit. I think I think it happened the way it was supposed to happen. I don't think it was supposed to be this big old, like, this big exaggerated moment. I feel like it was long overdue. There was no reason why they should have fallen out. And I've always said if two people were supposed to be friends on this show, it's Coop and Spencer. Like they're not friends, they're family. That's been shown. And I feel like it was just this elongated process to get to this point. And I feel like they are able to bounce back. So I didn't feel like it was I didn't feel like that, first initial moment, where that when they were at Layla's house was off. I feel like I don't really know if there's anything to talk about at this point. I feel like everything that they've said it's out there. That was the whole point of the blow up between them. And I feel like now they can move forward in a better space. And I love the skydiving moment. I'm happy. Like all is right in the world for me again now that they are on the same page and
Not
they are
always
actually
right in the
best friends
world.
again. Like I think that was very realistic to Coop and Spencer and how they love each other and they are able to bounce back. So I felt like it was what it was supposed to be, on
That's
both
that's funny.
sides. It was just
I thought it was a little anticlimactic at first, but then I love the skydiving thing. Like I felt like the skydiving wrapped it up
my
super quickly. Just want to
oh, I
put
don't
this in
know.
here.
It's interesting you guys think it was anticlimactic.
I mean, I
um
think it fit, but it was just a little like, okay, cool. Really quickly, just want to run through these because I feel like we're not gonna get to them. But Billy and Laura found out about the wedding because they got the invitations. That was a whole thing. Jordan was just like, I can't lose my wife and football. Eh. And anyway, Billy and Laura had a conversation. Billy was like, let's not push him away. Laura was just like, marriage is hard, Jordan. And then they resolved that whole thing. Billy and Laura are going to the wedding, but they're going to talk to Jordan about getting married. That was that little tidbit. And then Dylan was being a little menace to Grace and Carter all day. And Carter was trying to get his little mac
a
on with the
big menace.
champagne.
And Dylan was blocking, being a brat.
Yeah, he was blocking. He was blocking.
but I get
And
it, though. I get it.
he
It
was
was
like,
funny.
who's going to be the man of the house? Everybody was crying this episode, I feel
Right.
like, and I read that and I took that to be everybody whining, just like Asher. But yeah, I thought Carter and Grace were gonna kiss. I literally looked down as they were kissing, and then I didn't find out until after the episode that it was only a cheek kiss. So Carter's slowly
I
but
didn't know what it
surely.
was. I was confused. I was
No, I
confused. I didn't know what
Grace.
was happening, but I think they're cute.
Yeah, they're cute. And Grace looked like she was ready to throw her underwear at
She
him.
looked like she was ready. So when I found out it was a cheek kiss, I'm like,
She was ready to risk it
her.
all.
Yeah,
She
She was ready to
was.
risk it all for Carter.
She done
I
sent
was
Dylan to
like,
his
girl.
room.
He was
I
ready
was
to get
like,
out of
Dylan, if you
that
don't let
horror.
your mother have
Yeah,
this.
have this
I feel
I
like
was
happiness.
like,
it's
Dylan, let
realistic
your mother
for
have
him to
this. Okay,
have a
stop
moment.
being a brat. It's not all about you.
But I feel like it was realistic for him to have that moment because if I was that age and my
For
mom
sure.
is
For
dating, I would
sure.
have been like, "Who's this man? He
Yeah,
needs to."
I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And Spencer had a very similar
Yeah,
reaction
I personally,
last season or something, whatever it was.
Micah. Yeah. What did he call?
right.
She called him a
Mm-hmm.
safe choice because she was not smiling like that with Micah. I was like, "Oh, okay, Carter."
Yeah, Carter was
No,
they
I don't think the
were
spark was
having a little
ever
champagne,
there. Yeah,
champagne.
yeah. I've grown to love or not love, but I've grown to like the Grace and Carter
I
potential.
like.
So I'm here
I
for
knew
it
it
now.
was gonna be something good with them. I always was on board with it because, but I need new hair for Grace while we at it because I
Yeah, give us a
it's
Grace
not
something different.
Oh no.
Give us a
I
Grace
love her
something different.
curly fro.
I do, but it's just
I
like,
like
all
Curly
right,
do.
everybody done got to experiment with their hair. Let Grace have that chance. Let
they need
Grace
to
have that
brush
chance.
it out. It looks a bit stiff to me, and
It does. I don't know, because in season one, it was a little bit more, she had a little bit more length. Do you feel me? And
yeah,
now it's just like puffy.
it looks like when you wash your hair and you don't twist
Yeah.
it, it shrinks up. That's what it looks like to me, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah. It's like my
Yeah.
hair. That's why I enjoy it because it's like my hair right now is like how my hair is. So
I mean,
are
same.
you guys trying to
I'm
say
rocking the
that
natural
I
hair
don't
right
brush
now.
my hair? It's like, okay. I feel a little
No, I
shade coming
listen,
from
listen,
Naomi's
listen. My
side.
hair looks,
I'm kidding.
my hair is
I'm
probably
kidding.
tighter than Grace's, to be honest. And I'm just like, when am I getting box braids again? No, but yeah. So that
Right.
was that whole storyline.
I get your point though.
The last thing is
Mhm.
that there was a little Bringston All American Homecoming
Brings
introduction that they needed. I felt like they definitely needed to.
Yes.
They had to give us Simone playing tennis
Segue.
before we got this episode. They needed to give us, her
Hmm.
aunt, and then they finally discussed the trip, which Spencer and Olivia were invited to. Real quick, Olivia was very excited that Spencer was coming on the trip. She was disappointed when
She was
she said that
very excited. You saw that lip bite on the
that
side?
little lip bite, and this was after she was disappointed, and she said,
I
"We're
was
we're
like,
still just friends." And then
yeah.
she did the little, we need to start worrying about our own business, Spencer.
And he did a
And
little look at
so
cute. He was like, "Yeah."
right.
yeah, so they did a little.
Yeah, Olivia looked like she wanted to risk it all too.
She did look like she wanted to risk it
It's so
all
like
episode.
Jordan ruined it for us,
Whole
so we up
episode.
for it.
It was so funny, and so now
Child,
we
they are
got the
really waiting
little.
until they're
Oh, go
waiting until
ahead.
the
Yeah, they're
last
waiting till the
drop of
last
this
episode.
season to give us
I'm mad
like
about
the last drop of this season to give us.
Yeah.
I feel like something might happen.
I'm cool where they're at right now.
Me too, but I want
We'll
more.
see. I don't know. That's the debate. That's the
I
debate.
think
We'll see how that happens. If there's gonna be a moment.
Well, let's switch over to predictions. Thanks for listening to Film Study, an All-American podcast. Want to remember to say, please, subscribe to the YouTube page. And if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any of the other podcasting platforms, yeah, just go ahead and hit the add button, add to playlist. I don't know what it is. Just add me on all different platforms, on Twitter too. Same at Film Study AA. So yeah, just check me out. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned for our predictions for sort of the rest of the season, since we have 3 more episodes. Yeah, 3 more episodes. All right, take care.